Hello and welcome to Fearless DIY Music. My name is Tristan Lass, and today I want to talk about basic drum kit maintenance. In my recording sessions late last year, I noticed that my kit was kind of in need of some love. It was sounding fine. I wasn't getting squeaks or rattles or anything nasty, so I went ahead and just rolled with it. But I made, once again, a mental note. I need to go back and clean that kit up because it's looking pretty gross. And over the past 5 months, it has not gotten any better. So I finally broke down and decided, all right, we're going to tear down the kit a little bit, clean it up, and I was just going to go over a few things that people should pay attention to when they're setting up a kit for both recording, gigging, or just doing what I'm doing, which is just some basic maintenance to clean it up and make sure everything is functioning as it should be. Let's start with shells. On this shell, I've removed the bottom head, and the first thing that I do after I remove the head is I go through and I check every screw inside that holds all the anchors for the lugs. And I go through and I make sure they are all tight. There's nothing rattling, nothing loose. And I do the same thing with all the mounting hardware, making sure that all the points on the, every attachment point is nice and tight and the way it should be. And then, just give it a quick test run to make sure that it, doesn't have any unwanted noise happening because of hardware rattles. I also go through and I just do, when I put that bottom head back on, I'll do a rough tune on it and I check my top head. Just to make sure that I get a pretty even tone all the way around. I think that tuning drums is highly subjective. Some people like them tight, some people like them loose. I personally kind of low tune my drums a little bit, because I like a little bit more boom out of them. But I do want to make sure that the tone is consistent throughout the entirety of the head, and that also helps with wear on the head as well. And you don't want to have ripples or anything nasty in there. Same with your bottom head. I always make sure to kind of, keep it as neutral as possible and have all the characters, or as much of the character as possible, coming from the top head. As far as cleaning these nasty shells that are just covered in dust, what I do is I take a damp cloth and I wipe them, and then I go over them with a dry cloth to just get them nice and clean. Do the same thing with the heads. Replace the heads as needed. I roll with old dead heads quite a bit. Same way I do with guitar strings. If it's not broke, don't fix it in my mind. And I replace my drum heads very infrequently. Something has to pretty much break for me to go ahead and mess with it. All right. So anyway, that's what I do with my shells. Let's move on to moving parts. So my kick pedal here is absolutely disgusting. I will probably take this out to the shop and use my air compressor to kind of blow all the crap off of it, get it cleaned up, and then I will go through and I'll lubricate any of the, important moving parts areas that need lubrication, just to make sure that those stay, healthy and there's not dirt and grime in there wearing them down, get them nice and oiled. I also go through and I check and I tighten up any loose screws or Allen heads that I find on the pedal that could be making unwanted noise. I will give it a play test and make sure that the pedal is operating as silently as it is meant to, as quietly as possible. I'll go through the same process with my hi-hat, going through and using my old friend transmission fluid to lubricate points that need lubrication, clean all the dirt and grime and dust and all the crap out of it, and make sure that it's operating as quietly and smoothly as it was intended to out of the factory. All right. And then kind of the final thing would be all the cymbal stands and the other hardware, and then the cymbals themselves, the stands and all the chromed stuff I go through and I use, once again, a damp cloth, then a dry cloth to clean those up. On my cymbals themselves, I will probably cut this lemon right in half, and then I will use lemon juice to kind of like loosen up stuff and kind of give it a little acid bath. And then I'll go through and wipe it with a water and vinegar solution to do the final clean on my cymbals. I don't go too heavy with that stuff. I just want to get them shiny again. And if there is a little bit of buildup or mild corrosion, the combination of the lemon and then a little bit of vinegar solution usually gets things really clean. And that's it. There's not a whole lot to it. However, it takes a lot of time. Drum kits are big. There's hundreds of screws and connection points, lubrication points, all sorts of things, and you have to check all of them, especially on a studio kit like this one. If anything is making a noise and it gets picked up by a microphone, it can be a nightmare to find and isolate where that is. So before every session, or if your kit just has been neglected like this one has been for a few years, go through it thoroughly, clean everything, tighten everything, and make sure that everything is working as it should, and you should have a trouble-free recording experience. All right, well, thank you so much for watching up to this point, and if you have watched up to this point, please hit like and subscribe. Shares are greatly appreciated, and leave anything in the comments that you think would add to this video. Things that you do to maintain your kit, things that I may have overlooked, and at some point, I will do a comprehensive video on tuning drums and getting, tonal qualities and things like that for the studio, but that's not in the purview of this one. All right, you take care, hit subscribe, and we'll see you next time.